Good afternoon. I'm Karen Holmes Ward, and welcome to Cityline. Later in the program, we're going to have some fun picking wines for your holiday meals. But first, new stories of quiet heroism are still coming to light decades after World War II. In a new film directed by Tyler Perry called The 6888, we learn about the little-known history of the war's only unit of color in the Women's Army Corps. Our Brittany Johnson talks with actress Ebony Obsidian, who stars alongside Kerry and Oprah Winfrey.
Thanks, Karen. The history of the 6888 was not well known. They were unsung heroes who delivered hope during dark times. The battalion faced racism, sexism, and grueling working conditions. But the women were committed to serving their country with honor and distinction. I'm joined now by Ebony Obsidian, who plays Corporal Lena Darricott King. Ebony, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, were you familiar with the 6888 before the film, and how does it feel to take part in telling this story?
No, I wasn't familiar at all. I did not learn about it in school. I didn't learn about it in a textbook. This story was entirely missing from my arsenal of knowledge. I was floored when I read the script. When Tyler sent it to me, I was like, is this real? Is this fiction? Is this? He said, no, it's history. It's real. It happened. And we're telling this story. Do you want to be a part of it? So it was a big deal.
We have been ordered to provide hope. The soldiers have not heard from their loved ones, and their loved ones have not heard from them. When there is no mail, there is low morale.
It's definitely a big deal, and never before and never since has there been an all-female Army Corps of color. Now, why do you think their role has been downplayed in the telling of history?
I think when you give people their truth, there's a lot that can be done with that, right? Like once this film is out, once this true story is out of what these women did together, Black women, Latinas, what they accomplished in half the time that they were scheduled to do so, that gives a lot of power. It gives a lot of incentive and inspiration, and it allows people to dream in a direction they never even see themselves in. To see this billboard here in LA, to see just everyone who came out to the premiere and how much support that the film has been getting thus far, we're not supporting actors and actresses, we're supporting the real life women, right? We got to see this film yesterday and I didn't see myself. I saw Lena. I saw all of the women who worked so hard to accomplish that story that we're now just bringing back to light. And I'm so proud that this is their time. Even though it's delayed, it's still their time.
And you talk about real women, and one of those is Corporal Lena Darricott King. And what was her experience like in the Army? What can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. I mean, her interest and intrigue was really started with love. She fell in love with a Jewish boy in her neighborhood who she grew up with, and that was not allowed in the 1940s. It wasn't even a thought. It wasn't even an argument. It was none of those things. And that love is what catapulted her into this place in history, to be one of the first to go overseas to Europe during World War II and do what they did, which also was never done by anyone in World War II at that time in this scale. It was just unheard of, and they brought back hope. They brought back peace of mind to the American people, both here and on the front lines, and that was something that was needed. It was so important. Peace of mind and knowing that your loved ones are okay is really everything that anyone could ask for at that time.
Definitely, and it was definitely an important job that people had. And you also talk about sisterhood, you talk about community. Those two things were essential for these women to survive the hardships, both physical and emotional tolls during the war. Now, how did you and your other cast members build that sisterhood on the set?
I mean, I think we all approached it with so much care. We knew how important this story was. No one was unaligned on that. And so when we did enter the space, the joy and excitement of it was still felt. We were still girls, young women coming into the space to do something that we have never done as actresses. So it was kind of resemblant of the story of the 6888. And we all have such different personalities that shows on screen, but also off screen. And it goes to show how community does not need to look identical. Black women, Black people, we're not a monolith, and we can not only survive but thrive in different environments with the help of our community, with the help of each other. So that's what these women did.
And that message is just so important. And thank you for being a part of this and for telling this story. And I want to say thank you so much for joining us this time. This sounds like such an amazing and important film that people should see. And
yeah, I hope they do. I hope they see it. And I hope that all of the women who have come after the 6888 feel seen and feel celebrated and feel heard and feel acknowledged and know that these are the women who really paved the path for them.
Thank you for that, Ebony. And we do want to let everyone know that this film is in select theaters now, and it will be streaming globally on Netflix starting December 20th.
Thank you, Brittany and Ebony. And there are several other films that you may want to add to your watch list over the holidays.
But a room is not a house, and a house is not a home when the two of us.
Luther, Never Too Much, a new documentary that digs deep into the legacy of singer Luther Vandross. It's playing in limited theaters and will premiere on CNN on New Year's Day at 8 p.m. And streaming now on Netflix, The Piano Lesson, an adaptation of the August Wilson play. It follows the lives of the Charles family and their treasured family piano during the Great Depression. An enslaved ancestor carved images into the heirloom, and the story focuses on the arguments between a brother and a sister who have different ideas about what to do with it.
Mama Ola polished this piano with her tears for 17 years. For 17 years, she rubbed on it till her hands bled. Then she rubbed the blood in, mixed it with the rest of the blood on it. Every day God breathed life into her body. She rubbed and cleaned and polished and prayed over.
The film stars Samuel L. Jackson and is directed by Malcolm Washington. And check out Coleman Domingo's new Netflix limited series. It's called The Madness. It's about an African-American media pundit on the run, trying to clear his name after he's framed for the killing of a well-known white supremacist.